Well guys, this is the Kreis Cygnus 145WD, a defense type bay that belongs to Signis. Man, unfortunately, I don't have the box here because I don't know where I put it. I had stored the box here and I couldn't find it, so I apologize to you guys. But man, I'm really excited to analyze this bay because honestly, it's one of the coolest and best looking bays from the 4D System Saga. Even though a lot of people don't pay much attention to it, for me, it's one of my favorite defense types. Before we get into analyzing this here, I want to let you know that if you're interested in buying this bay, or others that I've shown here like Ali Drago, Orion, Pegasus, Leone, and a bunch of others I've already brought to the channel, just go to the link in the description or the pinned comment. There's a link to the store where I buy from. On AliExpress, 100% safe, high quality, like this one I bought there. And honestly, I totally recommend it. Just click and check out the link in the description, all right? Anyway, let's go ahead and analyze this bay piece by piece. All right, I've got the assembled parts of our crazy Ignis here, so let's start with the face bolt. Zooming in here, we have this really cool face bolt. By itself, there's nothing too special about it. It's just a black screw and solid plastic, not translucent, but the design is really nice. I really love it. The sticker, right? This design it has of the swan, you know, from the Swan constellation, since Ignis is basically Swan, which is the constellation we have. For those who are familiar with Saint Seiya, you already know that Hyoga is one of the bronze saints who wears the swan armor, and so the Swan constellation. Anyway, just some trivia. Anyway, this is the bay that represents the Swan constellation here, and of course we have the swan featured on it. But what's cool about it is that from this angle, when you look at it this way, you can clearly see the swan's head here, the swan's wing, and so on. But when we flip it upside down, it stops being just a swan and turns into a knight's helmet, which is really cool, and honestly, I had never noticed that before. This part of the wings becomes the top part of the helmet, the back part of the helmet. And the inner shine here from the star, which is one of the stars in the Cygnus constellation, becomes the knight's eye inside the helmet. Anyway, for me, it's one of my favorite face bolts because of this concept they used, making it look really beautiful. Right after that, we have this gorgeous bay, man. I just love this translucent baby blue color. It's just so beautiful, the one that Cygnus has. Well, it's actually Cygnus, right? Anyway, this shine it has isn't just because of the translucent plastic, but also because of the material, you know? That little bit of iron powder inside it, since it's a bay from the 4D system, so it has this internal metal powder, which makes it a bit heavier than usual. Man, honestly, I'm in love with this clear wheel because it's just so beautiful, man. The sticker really adds an extra highlight to the visual concept of the wings it has, like Cygnus, right? Here, for example, we have the feathers on the swan's wings, which are really highlighted with the sticker, making it look really beautiful. Not to mention that it's also a very circular clear wheel, which is a characteristic of defense-type clear wheels, so it has a well-balanced weight distribution and is also designed for its edge. So the weight distribution of this clear wheel is really harmonious, making it one of my favorites because of its color and also its concept. Really cool. Next, we have the fusion wheel, called Kreis on our Signis. It has these two parts, the metal frame and the core. So let's take a look at each of them. Starting with the core, we have this pretty simple piece, which is the heart that connects the two modes it allows for, which we'll understand in a bit what those are. Anyway, it's a very basic, straightforward piece where it focuses its weight in the center, since when we look at the metal frame, we'll see that it's completely hollow. Looking at the back, there's nothing special. This piece is really quite simple. Now, unlike its core, we have the metal frame, which does have a lot of details, and they're absolutely beautiful, guys. First of all, when we turn it to the side, we can see one of the coolest details of the metal frame, which are these wings. The feathers of the swan's wings present both on this side and on the opposite side. In other words, there are two parts that make up the wings. This engraving on the metal is really, really cool. Now, on this other contact part we have here, it's not the swan's wings. A lot of people get it wrong, but these aren't the swan's wings. They're actually the swan's head. Even if you can't quite picture it, when we look at it from this angle, you can see it right here. These would be the swan's two little eyes, its head bent downward, and here at these 2 points would be the swan's wings. Really cool, man. I get super excited about this concept when I'm analyzing the design of the clear wheels and similar Beyblade metal parts. It's so awesome. And up here on the top part, we have these engravings, which are kind of like the feathers, right? Of the swan's wings. but it really makes these details stand out, especially when we use the blue cyan color. Really awesome, seriously. But hey, it doesn't end here, because when we flip it over, we see even more details. And look, you're wondering, why so much effort? And you can't even see it? Hold on, my friend. You'll understand why in a second. All right, with both pieces in hand, you'll see we actually have 2 modes. Yeah, because it's a Fiji wheel from the forging system. So it has to have 2 modes. The base mode that most people use. That's its defense mode. The defense mode is exactly when you leave this part of the metal frame facing up, like it is here. To do that, you just need to fit it together like this. Once you fit it like this with the core, it'll be in defense mode. This defense mode that our fusion wheel Kreis, or Kreis, allows is actually a pretty interesting mode that even resembles, for example, the Diablo Nemesis, where we have free spinning. But here on the Kreis Signis, that's not the case. It's a fusion wheel that's limited. It only moves up to a certain point. It can basically rotate 90 degrees. This movement it creates when the upper part of the metal frame spins allows it to literally dodge the opponent's attack, which is really cool. And this lock, in a way, depending on the impact the opponent's bay has with this part, you know what happens. It can allow for a really powerful counterattack, depending on the timing, which makes it a pretty interesting weapon. Man, let's take a look here at the side part in defense mode. Dude, look how good it looks when it's attached to the core, right? Man, that's really cool. The detail of the swan's head wings is awesome, where they even form 2 nets. The wing part really protects this bay. It's really a very good defense wheel, seriously. And well, the other mode it has is attack mode. And to activate it, attack mode is simple. You just need to remove the metal frame, flip it upside down, and then fit it in like this until you feel it literally click into place. Shall we? Once it's fitted, it switches to attack mode like this. And when it's in attack mode, when we set it down, the whole pronged part faces downward. But now, facing up, the contact points are exactly in these slots it has on the wings, or on Sizzling's head on this side, and here on Sizzling's wing. Anyway, these slots make it so that when it gets hit here, it generates an attack. So its aggressive part is exactly in the slots on its sides. And this mode, man, was really, really cool to use in the competitive scene back then. A lot of people liked using this because it was a very versatile and powerful gold wire for both modes, both for attack mode and defense mode. Moving on to the track, we have the basic, classic 145, which is that elevator track with the little layers. Anyway, you guys are already used to it. You've seen countless bays with this track, on Leone and many others. But now in this kind of translucent gray color, and the same thing applies here to our tip, wide defense, now in this translucent gray color. It's another one for the wide defense collection, which, man, is the most used tip, in my opinion, in the whole metal fight generation. A bunch of bays use this tip, man. It's crazy, bro. Well, with our Cygnus taken apart here, let's put it together. To assemble this bay, let's start with the metal frame, which is easier. We grab it in the core so we can fit and lock in our fusion wheel. I'm already gonna leave it in defense mode, all right? So for that, you do it like this. Once we've got it fitted, we take the clear wheel from our Cygnus, flip it over, grab the track, and fit it into this hexagonal design, flip it back up. The face bolt gets a little stuck, tighten it a bit more with the tool, and then I grab the tip and finish it off. Tightening it with the tool as well. And this here is Kreis Cygnus 145 WD. A defense type bay that's really good. In my opinion, it's even better than Jade Jupiter, which is also a defense type bay. This bay is heavier than Jade Jupiter. It has more defense than it does, and it has more attack when it's set to attack mode, of course. Man, I really like Signis a lot. It's a really beautiful bay, as you can see when it's assembled. Man, the color combination, this cyan blue, this other darker blue from this sticker, man, it looks really nice, especially with the sticker and that light blue that really highlights the swan's wings on the clear part. The wheel, man, it's really beautiful, and I like blue, as you guys know, right? My channel is all blue, so his colors, I just love the design of this bay, and also the concept of the fission wheel deflecting attacks, kind of locking them, you know? It deflects the attack and locks it, and depending on how hard it gets hit here, man, it can ricochet like crazy, creating a really interesting counterattack. And its attack mode, like I explained before, was used a lot competitively because besides being offensive, it also protects this bay a lot thanks to that wall it has when you tilt it to the side. Man, it's honestly a really interesting bay, and I'm dying to test it out in action. But before that, I want to ask you to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel, because when you do that, it helps me a lot, since the content gets shared with more people. That way, we can keep growing more and more here on the platform, and it helps support my work. Become a member too, because if you become a member, we can bring even more amazing products like this one and so on. Anyway, enough talk. Let's go test this beast, which is one of my 2 favorite defense types from the Forge System saga, Cygnus. Let's do it. Let's test it out and see if it really lives up to the hype. All right, guys, to start off here is the Cygnus battle set. In its defense mode, I obviously want to test Fang Leone in its defense mode too, so let's go. I'll start by launching Leone here. This battle is to see which one has the best defense between the two. And now, Cygnus. Listen to the noise Cygnus makes during the battle, it's so different. Cygnus is managing to hit Fang Leone pretty well there, taking the center more than Pignones itself, because we can see it has better recoil than him. Wow, it completely destroyed Leone's stamina with that insane attack, draining all his energy. Victory for Signis. All right, I want to test Signis here in its defense mode against Flash Sagittario in stamina mode. Let's go. Let's launch Sagittario, nice and straight, now Signis. Let's see who will fight for the center of the arena. Cygnus is hitting Sagittario's track a lot, but Sagittario is managing to absorb it well, keeping its stamina and analyzing the situation. How to get Cygnus out of the center of the arena? It takes over and claims the center of the arena again, and now Cygnus is circling around it, looking for Sagittarius' weak spot. Will it manage to do it? Because Cygnus is really off balance, huh? Really off balance, man. Will it be able to stabilize with a hit or not? If it keeps going like this, it's gonna lose to Sagittario. Sagittario is gonna have the advantage here. Zodiacs. Will the Zodiac lose? Man, this bay is just gorgeous. Really impressive, but it'll lose. It's gonna lose here. In terms of stamina, it loses. A lot of it is because of the attack Sagittario pulled off here. Throwing B off balance, making it lose to Sagittario's victory. All right, so let's get to the battle test here. There should be a continuous defense mode against our Zodiacs, also in defense mode. Let's go. So let's launch Signis to be more stable here than our Death Quetzalcoatl, and launch Quetzalcoatl a bit more centered. Okay, I did it. I'm gonna launch it more centered, otherwise it's gonna spin like crazy. It already went straight for Signis, launching an absurd attack, but Signis is managing to stabilize itself, and Quetzalcoatl is already losing energy due to its rubber tip, which greatly reduces its stamina during battle. Will Signis be the winning formula? Even so, one stab wound was so strong it destabilized the Beyblades, huh? Signis wins! But that hit that Quetzalcoatl landed on Signis at the start was really cool, and shows just how solid this bay is on defense. Bizarre. Of course, I have to do a battle test with Beat Links, because the blader who uses Beat Links is also part of the same group as the blader who uses Cygnus. So let's do a battle test here. Signis in defense mode against Beat Links in attack mode with its highest track. Let's go. All right, let's launch Signis first, and now launch the Beat Links Ratchet. Look, they're already landing some really cool hits on each other. Both of them managed to hit hard and defend at the same time. But Signis is already starting to lose a bit of stability. We've already noticed that its pattern is to get really unbalanced because of the weight that's distributed outside the metal, right? But even so, in terms of stamina, Linux is gonna win, man. Linux managed to hold out way better here than Signis, bringing victory to our little Jaguar. Our Linux is painted, and that's it. Of course, I want to test Diablo Nemesis here in its stamina mode, against our Cygnus in defense mode. Alright, let's launch our Diablo Nemesis in Cygnus. Let's see how Cygnus does against its boss, right? Since it serves Rego, the user of Diablo Nemesis. Man, this bay is really heavy, Diablo Nemesis. Knocking it out of the arena is really tough. In terms of stamina, Diablo Nemesis might take it, but both of them are woggling a lot here, huh guys? Yeah, see? Diablo Nemesis. Just one more spin. Let's test this. Cygnus in attack mode against Feglione in attack mode. So let's go. Let's launch Cygnus here. And now let's launch Feglione too. And let's see who has the most powerful attack mode. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, you can already see the wear pattern on Feglione's tip. Remember the problem I mentioned earlier? This is the wear on Feglonia's tip, guys. Little by little, that sharp tip he has starts to wear down, making it more offensive, which is a problem for this vein because it'll end up spinning out of control in the center. And that's exactly what happened. It spun out of control and completely lost its resistance against Cygnus. And victory goes to our Signis. That's it. Well, now let's test our Cygnus in attack mode against Sagittarius, also in attack mode. Let's go. Let's launch Cygnus here and now launch Sagittarius. Well, last time Sagittarius came out on top. Now let's see if Cygnus wins, or if Sagittarius keeps it 2-0. Let's see. Oi. Wow, Cygnus landed a really good hit, destabilizing Sagittarius, but Sagittarius already recovered, huh? Man, this Bey has some serious recoil, right? Really good stamina, man. It even managed to drain Cygnus's energy, which is pretty crazy. Sagittarius is someone else. But there's no way, man. Cygnus's hit was so strong that Sagittarius didn't stand a chance. Now I want to test Dab Quartz the Cold in attack mode against Cygnus in attack mode. Alright, let's launch Cygnus here to make it easier, right? And now launch Quartz 2, already centered for a head-on clash. Nice! It already managed to hit Cygnus pretty well in attack mode. It's managing to hold up well against the hits from our Quadra. But when it comes to stamina, you already know what I'm gonna say, right? When it comes to stamina, Quartz really falls short, so if you don't land a direct hit, it's gonna lose. It's gonna lose. For sure. Look at that. It's over. It's over for the guy. Victory for the great Cygnus. You saw that Cygnus's attack mode is really good. I told you guys. All right, now I want to test Bitly in defense mode against Cygnus in attack mode. Let's do it. Okay, let's launch Cygnus. Launch it straight. I'm gonna launch Bitly too, Rad. Is it really in defense mode? All right. Bitly is in its most, kind of in the middle here, okay? But it's not highest, no. Even so, it's still vulnerable to hits from underneath Cygnus, right? Man, look at that. Wow, it's totally destabilizing Bitlinux. Bitlinux is really taking a beating. Damn, honestly, Cygnus's attack mode is 1,000 times better than its defense mode. And the defense mode is good, but damn, it's beating everyone so far. He's laying down the smack on everyone, bro. On everyone, bro. This guy doesn't spare anyone. Victory for Cygnus, man. That's cool, man. And now it's his turn. Diablo Nemesis in its most powerful mode, at least in my opinion, against Cygnus in attack mode. Let's go! Our Diablo Nemesis, okay? With its stamina tip, since it's better, right? To defeat. And now Cygnus. Let's see what happens. Man, for Cygnus, winning here would have to be a miracle, man. If he wins with this attack mode, seriously, I'll have to sign off on it as one of the strongest Fusion Wheel 4Ds out there, but I don't think he's gonna win. Because Diablo Nemesis in this mode is really, really overpowering in my opinion. Way too overpowering. Because taking him out, man, it's tough, dude. But alright, Cygnus is studying, given just a little tap there to destabilize the guy, but he's managing to tank it. He's managing to tank Diablo Nemesis, and Cygnus too. Who's gonna take him? Cygnus or Nemesis himself? Let's see. Nemesis is... Wow, no way! No way, guys. No way, guys. No way. It's just our swan, man. That's why I've always liked this base. Pretty insane. Besides being beautiful, it's strong, man. It's taken everyone down. Took everyone down. Death Quartz, a Coach, Beach, Lennox, Fang, Leone, Flash Sagittario, and Diablo Nemesis. All in attack mode. I told you guys, man. The attack mode on this Fidgeril is really good, guys. These were the battle tests for our Kreis. Signs. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a lot of likes. Subscribe. Because this one right here deserves your support. So I'll see you next time with another video. We're in this together. Thanks.